Good morning, dear students. Till yesterday, we discussed about gametogenesis. One part was left, that is the structure of the ovum. Well, it is not distinctively mentioned in NCERT, but then it is still part of your syllabus. Let's see how the ovum looks and what are its various parts called. The ovum is a rounded, non-motile cell. In human, the ovum is yolk-free. And there is abundance of cytoplasm, which is called the ooplasm, and there's a large nucleus which is termed as the germinal vesicle. It shows a prominent nucleolus too. It is not showing in this particular structure, but then there is a dominant nucleolus seen. The cytoplasm is covered by a plasma membrane, and just outside the plasma membrane is a narrow perivitelline space, and just after the perivitelline space you see the zona pellucida. This yellow part is the zona pellucida, and then outside the zona pellucida is the corona radiata. Outside this gray color part is the corona radiata. It is radially elongated follicular cells. Corona radiata is nothing other than the elongated follicular cells. The side of the ovum which extrudes polar body is termed as the animal pole. Opposite side is called vegetal pole. The human ovum loses its ability to fertilize about 24 hours after ovulation. In human being, ovum is released from ovary as secondary oocyte. Though there is no mention of the structure of the ovum separately, but in the figure 3.10 you will find the structure of the ovum, where the ovum is surrounded by the sperms. And it clearly shows all the parts of the ovum, right from your zona pellucida, corona radiata, perivitelline membrane, the ooplasm, the cell membrane, and then the nucleus and a prominent nucleolus. Nucleus and nucleolus is not mentioned, but then the rest of the parts are mentioned. So this is part of your syllabus. You may be asked how a ovum looks or what are its features. So the end product of gametogenesis, we get the sperm. We have studied the structure of the sperm, the various parts, their uses, and then the structure of the ovum. So these are the two end products of gametogenesis. Next we will discuss about the menstrual cycle. The reproductive cycle in female primates like monkeys, apes and human being is known as the menstrual cycle. The gamete formation in the females involves around 28 to 29 days, and the function of the structure and the function of the entire reproductive system is known as the menstrual cycle. The first menstruation begins at puberty and is called menarche. In humans, menstruation is repeated at an average interval of around 28 to 29 days. And the cycle, this menstrual cycle, stops around at the age of 50 in human females, and this stage is termed as menopause. So if you pay attention over here, it's a reproductive cycle of female primates to the periodic discharge of blood, tissue, fluid, mucus from the reproductive organs of sexually mature females. The flow usually lasts for 3 to 6 days each month and is caused by a sudden reduction in the hormones estrogen and progesterone. Now, how these two hormones affect and just help in the shredding of the endometrium, we will be discussing that. The menstrual cycle begins when a female reaches the age of puberty. During the menstrual cycle, the uterus endometrium, I hope you remember, this is the innermost layer of the uterus, prepares itself for implantation of a fertilized egg. If fertilization does not occur, the uterus lining is shed from the body. And since all of us know about this phenomenon, all of us are facing it every month, so you have an idea what is actually happening in your own body. Menstrual cycle repeats, as I told you, at an average interval of 28 to 29 days, but it varies from person to person. Not at all necessary it will be fixed cycle. It can vary from person to person. Now, one ovum is released in the middle, usually on the 14th day of each menstrual cycle. Again, depending on the cycle, the day, 14th or the 15th day, varies. But then generally when we are studying, we keep it at the cycle is of 28 days and ovulation is occurring in the middle of the cycle, that is the 14th day. The menstrual cycle has been divided into 4 phases, namely the menstrual phase, follicular phase, ovulatory phase and the luteal phase. So in the brackets it's mentioned menstrual phase is the bleeding phase, and it also marks the beginning of the new cycle. Then is the follicular phase, before the egg is released. If you recall, inside the ovary, as the primary follicle is released, it matures into secondary follicle, then into a tertiary, and then into a Graafian follicle, and then the ovulation occurs. That is your follicular phase. Then the ovulatory phase, which is when the egg is released, that is ovulation is occurring. And then after the release of the egg, what are the changes occurring? That is the luteal phase. So after the ovulation has occurred, 2 possibilities are there. Either the ovum gets fertilized by a sperm, or it does not get fertilized by a sperm. When it does not get fertilized by the sperm, the hormonal levels in the body go down. As a result, the inner lining of the uterus, the endometrium, is shredded from the body, and the regular bleeding period starts, and again this marks the beginning of another cycle. Now this is a very important graph. If you see, the first topmost part of the graph is showing pituitary hormone levels. Then according to these hormones, what are the events occurring in the ovary, and what are the ovarian hormones being secreted, and then what is happening in the uterine wall. Okay, so the pituitary hormones, if you recollect, the FSH and LH are stimulated by the gonadotropin hormones during puberty. So after puberty, with the increase in the gonadotropin hormone, the pituitary starts secreting FSH and LH. So as the cycle begins, that is during your periods, there's a slight rise in follicular stimulating hormone. The follicle stimulating hormone, what does it do? It causes one of the primary follicle to trigger development. The primary follicle starts developing, becomes a mature follicle, and that is marked, as I told you, this release of the first follicle is marked as day 1, and it takes around 14 days for maturation of the follicle. And after the follicle matures, there is a rise in LH, that is luteinizing hormone, which causes a rise in estrogen secretion by the ovary, and that results in ovulation. Okay, by that time the uterine wall has become thickened and it has developed again if a fertilized ovary comes. the inner wall of the uterus has developed to accept a fertilized ovum, not the ovary, ovum. So it has got thickened so that when a fertilized ovum comes, it can get embedded in it. But if it does not come, this corpus luteum starts secreting hormones that is, this progesterone increases in level, and as a result, there is no, because of absence of fertilization and no other hormones being produced, this shreds off. Again, there is a rise in developing of this follicle. The new cycle begins. Let's see each phase a bit minutely. So the first phase is the menstrual phase or the bleeding period. Now, if fertilization does not occur, the unfertilized egg undergoes autolysis. The reduction of the luteinizing hormone, which we saw in the previous graph, causes regression of the corpus luteum. As the LH decreases, the corpus luteum degenerates. As a result, the level of progesterone goes down, and this causes breakdown of the endometrial lining and blood vessels occur. Breakdown of the endometrial lining and blood vessels, leading to bleeding, which comes out through the vagina. So this inner wall is shred. It occurs only when ovum released and fertilization does not occur. Lack of menstruation is the indication of pregnancy. But then you might wonder, why would it happen to you? At times there are certain imbalances in the body of the various hormones that also cause lack of menstruation. So don't get worried if you have not had your menstrual phase. It doesn't mean that you're pregnant. It might be a chance that there are certain changes in the hormones which has stopped or prevented the shredding of the endometrium. So better consult a doctor. A gynecologist would guide you better what to do or what not to do. The next phase is the follicular phase or proliferative phase. It is marked from day 1 to day 14 of the whole cycle. The menstrual phase is followed by follicular phase. The primary follicle grows into the Graafian follicle and the endometrium also regenerates. Now the pituitary has started secreting FSH and LH, which increases and stimulates follicular development. So with the increase in these two hormones, the follicle starts developing into secondary, tertiary, and then the Graafian follicle. And the LH and FSH, as I told you, they are being secreted by the pituitary. They also increase the estrogen secretion from the follicles. So these follicles secrete the hormone estrogen. So this is growing, this is maturing from day 1 to day 14, along with it secreting estrogen. Now this development is guided by increase in FSH and LH, and these two secretion is highest during the 14th day. So is the secretion of estrogen. All of them are being secreted in its highest level. LH and FSH are at peak in the middle of the cycle when the ovum is released by the Graafian follicle, and that is known as ovulation. So rapid secretion of LH induces the Graafian follicle to rupture and release the ovum. This process is known as ovulation, and what is left behind is called. Next is the luteal phase. This begins after ovulation. The ruptured graphene follicle gets transformed into corpus luteum and it starts producing large amount of progesterone. This progesterone helps in proliferating of the endometrium, that is preparing the inner wall of uterus for accepting a fertilized ovum. Now suppose the ovum has been fertilized by a sperm successfully, then the corpus luteum does not degenerate and keeps on secreting progesterone throughout the pregnancy to maintain the endometrium. If the ovum has not got fertilized, the corpus luteum degenerates. As a result, the progesterone levels decreases, and due to the decrease of the progesterone levels, the endometrium also degenerates and there is shedding of blood and the cycle is repeated. So, endometrium is necessary for implantation of fertilized egg and does not shed during pregnancy. If fertilization occurs, corpus luteum grows further and pregnancy continues. Menstruation cycle stops. So during pregnancy there is no menstrual cycle occurring. It has been halted. In absence of fertilization, the graphene follicle transforms to yellow body known as corpus luteum. Progesterone level decreases if corpus luteum degenerates to corpus albicans. That means the corpus luteum, if the fertilization has not occurred, it degenerates to corpus albicans, and as a result, with the decrease in progesterone leads to menstruation. Menstrual cycles ceases at the age of 50 and is known as menopause. Cyclic menstruation indicator of normal reproductive phase and extended between menarche and menopause. So the cyclic phases are repeated between menarche and menopause. Again, going back to this graph, the pituitary hormones with the beginning of the cycle, that is the bleeding phase has occurred, the pituitary hormone again starts secreting LH and FSH. With the increase in LH and FSH, there is another release of this primary follicle. This starts growing with the increase of FH and LH and FSH until day 14th, and they also secrete estrogen. So these are the ovarian hormones secreted by these growing follicles. On day 14th, ovulation occurs. This primary phase is known as the follicular phase, where the follicle develops. Then is the ovulation or the ovulatory phase. After ovulation, the graphene follicle gets converted into corpus luteum. This corpus luteum starts secreting progesterone. With the increase in progesterone, the inner lining of the uterus wall, that is the endometrium, starts developing. It increases to welcome a fertilized ova. If the ova gets fertilized, the corpus luteum does not degenerate, keeps secreting progesterone until the whole pregnancy, keeping intact the endometrium. If the ova does not get fertilized, the corpus luteum degenerates to corpus albicans. As a result, progesterone level decreases. With the decrease in the progesterone level, the endometrium is shred off along with the unfertilized ovum. This also marks the beginning of a new cycle where again the LH and FSH are slightly increased in the blood. I hope you all have understood the menstrual cycle. If you have doubts, please clarify your doubts you can text me on the WhatsApp